guest just took off. He'll be right back. He must have had it. Oh, here he comes. And there he is, wise bearded dad. How you doing tonight?
Doing real good, Jeremy. How are you doing?
Fantastic. We're basically going to rehash the talk from last night a little bit. So if you watched it, I'm sorry, but I wanted to get the take of my nephew's best friend. I wanted my nephew to be here, but he's indisposed. Jeff, the mountain man, is out there splitting wood like every good mountain man does before winter. So that being said, let's go to the chat. Nobody's there yet. Good. So the first week of training camp is gone. We had the scare with CJGJ. Tom Kennedy gets the medical waive, and then we sign Trey Gibbs, a XFL wide receiver. But there's been a lot of good things coming out of training camp. Rodrigo gets a pick off of, oh, go figure. Aiden Martinez throws an interception. Imagine that. but Jack Campbell got his first fumble and recovery. He forced it and recovered it on the same play, which that is not normally the case, whether it's in practice or in game. Hatter's House 710 says, "Hey fellas, go Lions." And then today, Brian Branch, I was watching the video and I'm looking and I was like, wow, he's like 7 yards back. And it's Khalif Raymond running for the ball. And Branch takes a great angle, gets in there and breaks up the pass. You know, his football IQ is off the chart. As a matter of fact, I did some notes about our safety room just in case. Just in case CJGJ did go down. I mean, because here's our safety room right now. I'm going to name it in order of the way I think it breaks down. Tracy Walker at free safety 1, Kirby Joseph at strong safety. Then you got Chauncey Gardner Johnson, Brian Branch, Ife Melifamu, Brendan Joseph, Will Harris, Brady Breeze. And that's actually the order I think the depth chart would break down as of right now. And
I mean, oh, go right ahead.
so here's the CJGJ last year for the Eagles. Had 6 interceptions, played 208 snaps at nickelback, 443 at free safety, and 202 as the in the box safety. So at nickel and in the box, which as a nickel corner, you're kind of an in the box safety anyways if your natural position is safety. Couldn't you almost say that was 410 snaps in the box?
Yeah, you absolutely could.
And that's versatility. And then splitting between nickelback and safety at Alabama, the only FBS player last year with 90 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, and 2 interceptions. Versatility again.
And remember, he's doing that in the SEC, which is arguably the best conference in the college football.
I mean, when it
At
comes to
Alabama.
yeah, when it comes to college, it's a very top-heavy conference. The the talent goes way downhill once you hit the mid-level, once you get past Auburn and LSU. So at the same time, the SEC is kind of like the NFL light.
Sort of.
Or the NFL G League. But the way that was handled at 10:14 a.m. on Monday when CJGJ got his injury, I was kind of dismayed at how it was handled by mainstream media. The Adam Schefters, Tim Twentymen's, Jeff Risdon's, Dave Bichette, all of those guys. It was very much mishandled because 2 hours later you hear the MRI is done and there's no structural damage. Maniac Sports, Timothy Becker. How you doing, Tim? Uncle Timmy.
Yeah, I was listening to all the different channels, and reports coming out, and like everybody was saying the same thing. Oh, it's bad. He's in pain. He's getting carted off the field. I'm sitting here like, what is going on? The first day, the first day.
And then come to find out, while he was on the ground, somebody missed him being stepped on. And I don't know. I got this sneaking suspicion it was Will Harris so he could secure his spot on the roster. I don't care what anybody says. It was Will Harris going, "Oh my God, my job is gone, bastard." So I'm just.
But he's already back 5 days later too.
Yeah, day to day, he's back at activities, but not taking practice yet. So it's still but the fact he's walking on it with the way they made it out is huge. Then you go, I just think mainstream media needs to scale back on injuries right after they happen unless they know it's something serious. They need to go back to reporting it the way it used to be prior to social media. I understand it's clickbait, trying to get the clicks, and they did. Not going to say it's wrong, but it isn't totally right either. This opinion-based media that we have now is killing news as we knew it.
It's just everything wants the story first and the facts second, and that it's frustrating. It's very frustrating, and honestly, I whenever I hear a headline come out, I try to give everything at least 12 to 24 hours before I make an opinion on it.
Well, it used to be if somebody went down at training camp, they couldn't put it out right away, right? So they would go back to their offices and check their it wasn't voicemail then, it was actually an answering machine. Check their answering machine, check their ticker tape report, because they didn't even have internet back then. In the early 90s, internet didn't exist really in the home until 95 with America Online and Microsoft, right? Something like that, 95, 94, right around there.
AOL, the dial-up connection.
Yeah, I hated it when cable modems started to come out and the actual good speeds came out. And connecting to AOL, it would still make the dial-up connection for signing in.
It's more of an iconic thing at that point, though. You got to have it.
That being said, we're hearing a lot of good things. Antoine Green is showing out. Denzel Mims is looking good. Which, I'm sorry, when you played on a team like the Jets and your quarterbacks, let me list them in order for you. Sam Darnold, Josh Johnson, Zach Wilson, Mike White, Chris Streveler, and Joe Flacco. If those are your quarterbacks, and granted you were injured for a good portion of your second year, I believe it was, would you really have that good of a time trying to catch footballs?
Not really, no. I mean, you look at the way the Jets play offense. It's usually like based on running the football, which is good. But I mean, like you said, who's the quarterback?
So
I mean,
switching to Jared Goff for him was kind of like when Randy Moss went from Dante Culpepper to Tom Brady.
Oh, jeez.
That's a very close analogy if you think about it.
It's close, but I mean, I can't put Goff in the same sentence as Tom Brady.
No. You're missing the point there. I'm saying
the comparison, though, like going from quality to quarterback play, yeah.
That's all I was talking about, not the player, the quality thing. It's going from Dante Culpepper to Tom Brady. Dante Culpepper was good, but he had one great season, but he wasn't great. Whereas all those guys were awful, and Jared Goff is good. It's the same level of upgrade is what I was getting at.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if he's going to make anything, this is the team to do it. I mean, like I said, if you outside of Jameson Williams, who's gone for 6 games, I mean, really the main person is Amon Ra. I mean, outside of him, because Williams, he's going to be good, but how good? I haven't really seen him play. After that, it's like who? Raymond? Mims has a shot here, I think.
Minnesota doesn't have a shot. Did you see what I said? I sent you a picture, and it wasn't just the Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, that's the breaking news today. Jonathan Taylor wants out from Indianapolis, and the contract extension talks between Minnesota and Danielle Hunter went down, and now he wants out, and they're looking to trade him.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. The Colts are not going to ship Jonathan Taylor to Minnesota. They're going to ship him to the Cowboys.
Hey, y'all.
Or
nope, didn't get a notification. Discussion topic. I just brought up the fact, Lions 1960, that Jonathan Taylor wants out of Indy, and Danielle Hunter is now. Minnesota is looking to take trade offers for him because the extension talks for him broke down. The mistake they made was giving Davenport, their DN that just came off his rookie contract, a $13.5 million deal in the middle of last season to extend him, and he only had half a sack all year, while Danielle Hunter was still making $4.5 million on his deal, and he had 10.5 sacks. So if you're Danielle Hunter and you're looking at that, oh, this guy's a bum and has a half a sack and he's getting almost 14. I deserve at least 15. Is he wrong? No, he's not.
nah, he's not wrong.
He's not gone yet. They are entering trade talks now. They have opened up the phone and they're taking calls for trading for Danielle Hunter. Hey, Bears, you got the cap. Oh, wait, no, you don't. You re-signed Cole Kmet, and between your two tight ends, you spent $40 million.
You know who does have the cap room, though? The Lions.
But we don't need him.
No.
He's a DN.
I've heard and from what I'm hearing, Charles Harris has been looking really good in camp.
Just like he did before he got hurt last year.
Yeah.
Eric Dalton says, I am totally loving how Packer Nation is trolling our accounts and blasting our teams versus talking up their teams. Yeah, you're right. They do a lot. They talk about our past. I seen Bears fans posting a picture from the old Bubbles lion on the helmet of some quarterback getting laid out by number 58. Oh, like 58. Is that Richard Dent?
Hey, that's cool, but at the same time, one of the greatest highlights of an NFL run ever is Barry Sanders against the Bears. That's in every NFL highlight.
Yep, and the other one is the one that I show in my video when he did that in the playoffs versus Dallas.
Oh, yeah. That one was sweet.
Broderick Martin reminds me of Warren Sapp. I'm not quite going to go that far. He has to prove it to me that he earns that type of title. But
as big as he is...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, as big as he is, if he just comes in as like a legitimate run stuffer, I'll be satisfied for his rookie year.
Well, I'm more looking at what he did because we have a 4-man front. I've been looking more into his stats from when he was at Northern Alabama. And the reason why I say that, at North Alabama, he played the DT2 spot, which is where he was comfortable. When he went to Western Kentucky, they switched him to a 3-4 nose tackle, and he was out of sorts. He didn't look right. And he also had a different bend because he didn't know how to play it. But yet, when he got a hold of somebody, it took 2 or 3 guys to stop him from getting in backfields. because of his size and strength. If he worked on his leg strength a little more, he's going to be nasty.
We'll see. I mean, like I said, my main thing for him is I just need him to be a run stuffer this year. That's all I need him to be.
Lions 1960. I take it you've been to camp and seen some stuff, or did you see something in a video? Because he says Martin made Frank the Tank remember he can't take a play off. That's awesome. If he did that to Frank Ragnow,
that's impressive, especially with the pads on too.
Yeah.
Frank the Tank's gonna remember that. Don't let him. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
That's impressive.
That makes more sense, Devin. His body type is more like Sat. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because when Warren Sapp first hit the league, he was all upper body and had almost no lower body strength. And he was one of those guys that wasn't able to get low real well when he first got in the league. Everybody forgets that these Hall of Famers struggled as rookies too, half the time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all I got to do is say, there's only been 3 rookies in NFL history to do what Aiden Hutchinson did, and he's one of them. The other 2 is Lawrence Taylor and Richard Dent. Hall of Famers. I'm not saying Aiden Hutchinson will be a Hall of Famer, but he has the potential to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why when people talk about like Sam Laporta, I'm like, dude, don't put too much on him. He's still a rookie tight end. Like even the great rookie tight ends weren't putting up giant numbers and whatnot,
I need my glasses to read this one because he put an LOL. Where'd they go? Now I'm getting an old timers moment. But us bearded guys, we love talking Lions. Detroit Lions today reminded me of the 1984 Bears, the fans and the team and the way they were on the verge. Yeah, I can see that. That's a good analogy.
Somebody mentioned that to me too, right before earlier today, and I'm not trying to add to that, but he called and said, you should mention that. It's almost like the 85 Bears with McMahon and
McHeadband, as I like to call him. Jim McHeadband.
I think that would crush every Vikings fan if the Lions win a Super Bowl before them.
If they trade away Hunter, I see them as a 5 to 8 win team this year and possibly hitting the basement of the league.
Easy. No, they'll still get 7 or 8 wins.
I don't think so.
Justin Jefferson?
You don't have Dalvin Cook to command 8 men in the box. Alex Madison is a capable running back 2, not a RB1. He averages 3.8 yards per carry without 8 men in the box. Your backup is Dwayne McBride, which is an unknown, correct? And then the other guy.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is a cannot get it done in prime time quarterback. 10 and 18.
That's true, but
10 and 18 in his entire career. Justin Jefferson has benefited by 8 men in the box when Dalvin Cook is there, which puts him in single coverage, which allows him to beat everybody that it wasn't named Jeff Okudah.
You still have TJ Hockenson and you have that rookie as well. Like Minnesota, I don't think they're gonna. I think they're not gonna win the division. I think the Lions are, but at the same time, even if they get rid of Hunter, I don't think they're a 5-win team. They'd be lower than the.
Oh. I said 5 to 8 win team. I gave them a window of wins. I think their floor is 5 and their ceiling is 8 if they get rid of Hunter.
Yeah, I'd probably give you. I'd say that.
Remember, I do windows until I see preseason played. I do win windows. I don't like prior to a preseason game being played, I don't like to be locked in on a one record because you don't know what injuries, who gets cut, what the team is actually going to look like yet.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's all the what I'm talking is just strictly on paper. Like, I mean, obviously stuff happens during the season, but just strictly on paper in that scenario,
Once they trade him, that's their fifth All Pro they've lost, with four of them on defense.
that defense is. And see, that's why I said it was crazy before, but it's like as much improvement as the Bears have made. If Jordan Love isn't like the guy, I could see the Bears competing for that number 2 spot in the North. As crazy as that sounds, in that situation, if they get rid of Hunter, that defense takes a major hit like that.
Okay, you said 10 to 12, I said 10 to 13, so we're pretty much on the same page. 10 to 12 wins is what Aaron
For the
Dalton is
Lions.
saying. Yep. I said 10 to 13. I said there's 4 games that I don't see them winning outside of the Kansas City. And I'll tell you why. As much as we dog on the Bears and as bad as they've been over the last couple of seasons, let's look at it. They're the most improved team in the North, and the Lions are the second most improved team. Packers treaded water but degraded at quarterback immensely. Does anybody disagree with this? So I had it as the Lions at 10 to 13. I have it, all the rest of them are between 5 and 8 wins. But the games we're going to lose on the road, we seem to always lose at Minnesota on the road. We always do. This year, it's going to be at Chicago because they are a much improved team and we play them later in the year than we usually do.
Yeah, I could see us losing at Chicago.
So
Soldier Field's a hard place to play.
I don't see us losing a game to Green Bay. Because by the end of the year, they'll have nothing to play for. So Thanksgiving Day game is going to be a gift. That's just my feeling.
Could be.
And you think Minnesota's last year, that 13-4 record, that was fool's gold. You know why? They only beat 2 teams handily. 11 of those games were 8 points or less. They're not going to win 11 one-score games again.
No, just the law of averages, they won't. I would almost argue, though, like with, 13 wins, that wouldn't, on a high end, I could maybe see that. It's not crazy to think that. I mean, if the Vikings can win 13 games last year, why couldn't the Lions win 13 games this year?
That's exactly where I'm at, because we are a better team than we were. And if you look at it, we went from the 32nd ranked scoring defense after 7 games to the 28th by the end of the season. Oh, look who's here. It is the bearded mountain man himself.
What's happening?
What's happening, Jeff?
Oh man.
Man, you missed out on some stuff.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, shit.
You missed out on a ton, man.
Wood's got to be cut and wood's got to be split. What can you do?
Oh, yeah.
And then there's some damn fine chicken got to be eaten.
Hey, yeah, that happens. Good. I'm just glad you got it in. You made it here before we finished.
Yeah. You guys about to wrap up here? Or?
No, we were just talking with the chat.
No, we're good.
We're good. We barely covered the first subject. So I covered the first week of training camp so far. And, in Lions 1960, saw it in a video that Broderick Martin beat Frank the Tank off the line to get to Goff. Yeah. And say what you want. That's pretty impressive.
Well, if he can do that, that means he's got some quickness, I guess. I mean, but also when you go against the guy, fucking 60 times a day, you're gonna win. You're gonna win some.
Yeah, but a rookie doing it is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
If he just had a Lee McNeil or Levi Onwuzurike or Josh Pascal or Isaiah Buggs or John Comiskey, I'd be like, okay, those guys are seasoned vets. You expect that. To hear it came out of that it's Broderick Martin, the guy that everybody said is going to be garbage as soon as we drafted him. I mean, as far as the average fans, I heard a lot of average fans call him garbage and a reach.
I never thought he was going to be garbage. I mean, I looked at his tape and I don't like how upright he is. I don't like how he stands so upright and just pushes and uses strength as an asset when you're talking about guys who are going to get lower than him pushing. But I would never say garbage. He's a fucking giant human being who needs some coaching, you know.
Things were just, let's try and keep 4 years control. If he's good, then yeah, Houston is going to get paid if he keeps on pace. Yeah, I mean, think about it, 78 snaps and he had 8.5 sacks last year. Do I expect that same level of production out of him? I don't think so, but I think
No.
him and Hutch both could get double-digit sacks easily.
Yeah, I mean, did you listen to Dan Campbell talk about him in his press conference?
Mm-hmm.
Literally said exactly what his role is going to be. He said Charles Harris is going to be the starter, but
Hallelujah.
he said Charles Harris is going to be the starter. James Houston will be in those sub DN packages, and in training camp, we're working him into those sub linebacker packages, trying to get him some more looks, trying to get him to the point where he could take over for Charles Harris.
Right. And
Yeah,
them
that's how
saying
you.
Charles, I love the fact that he said Charles Harris, and I'm going to tell you why. That means Romeo Aquara is probably, because there's almost no dead cap this year, with it being the last year of that 3-year albatross contract that he's been hurt for most of it. He could be trade bait to another team come trade deadline.
Charles Harris, we're talking.
No, Romeo Aquara.
Oh, Romeo.
Who are you going to get rid of? The guy that you're making a starter that makes 3.9 million, or the guy that has pretty much been hurt ever since he signed his contract and makes 13.5 and has more cap room to spare with little dead cap? Who are you getting rid of?
I don't honestly think we have much trade bait in that room unless you're talking about Charles Harris. Unless James Houston like shows that he can truly take that role from Charles Harris. I don't know in that room. I mean, somebody might give up a 5th-round pick for Julian Aquara, a 4th-round, 5th-round pick for Romeo. Unless Romeo
You
just
could probably get a 3rd-round pick for John Cominsky.
We're not getting rid of Kaminsky.
I don't think we're going to get rid of Kaminsky.
We just re-signed him.
No, I don't think we are. But I mean, like, I think you could get a 3rd-round pick for him if you wanted to trade him.
Nobody wants to trade him though, because look at what happened when he got hurt those 5 games. What did Aiden Hutchinson do? Absolutely nothing, because there was no one there to help him.
Yeah, I'm kind of talking like odd men out. Like
I think
this room is getting filled with guys of similar talent level, right? So it's getting filled with guys that are really close to talent level. Charles Harris, Romeo Aquara, Julian Aquara, John Kaminsky, James Houston, who we don't really know what he is yet, but he showed flashes of being really fucking good. But can he stay on the field for, 75% of the snaps compared to 30% of the snaps?
Right.
One of the Aquara brothers will be on the roster.
I think neither of them. I think neither of them will be on the roster by the end of the season.
Quite possible.
Romeo nullified his contract and resigned. When did he do that?
I don't think
this
he
past offseason.
I don't think he nullified it. I'm pretty sure he took a lesser deal. I know Charles Harris did.
Yeah, Charles Harris is only making 3.9.
And I think Romeo took a lesser deal too.
And he did.
But I seen on Woodward Sports where they was playing some clips of Derek Barnes talking, and it sounded like he was real nervous about even being on this roster.
Who was that?
Derek Barnes. He was talking, and he was like very unsure of what was going on. And he's like, I had to talk to people that that he's really close to, and had to pray about it. So it seems to be in camp, someone's outperforming him.
Okay, with the restructure of Romeo, the way they did it, the dead cap $7 million. The yearly cash, though, of what it saves the team is $9.5 million if he's traded away by the trade deadline. So it saves him more money than it costs them to keep him. That's my point.
If they trade him, they save money, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they save $9.5 million. And then there'll be a carryover of dead cap to next season automatically, whether he's on the roster or not, of $3.5 million because of that restructure.
Well, then that means you want him to hit the field as much as possible and produce.
Or you put him on the block.
Yeah, but what's he worth right now?
Oh, he's probably worth maybe a 6th round pick.
Right. He ain't worth much right now, but if you get him back on the field, and he can show half, 3/4 of what he showed when he was on the field for the Lions, you can actually might get a 3rd or 4th round for him.
Maybe a 4th or 5th.
Maybe.
I mean, Julian, I don't even know if you can get a 7th round pick for Julian.
I think you'd get a 7th.
How many years did Anzalone get? I think he's on a 3-year with an out in year 3, so technically a 2-year contract.
Anzalone ain't going nowhere.
Nope.
No, he's for what they're paying him. That's a very fair contract. I'm happy with Anzalone being on the roster with what they're paying him. And that's a very fair talent level to payment.
Yeah, and when you're talking about such a young linebacker room, the one guy who can actually be a leader in that room, who's been around the NFL, even if he ain't a starter, he could at least be a leader in that linebacker room.
I pretty much called it exactly. It was 3 years, but the 3rd year is kind of the out year. Like if he starts to degrade again, we have him for this year, next season, and then 2025 is the out year. And it would save the Lions $6.1 million if they traded him away that year. So that's what I'm saying. You got to look at the out years. And when you look at those contract signings.
You guys talked about the Herbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely getting talked about this week coming up, because I was mostly talking about the players that got signed over the past week, and that deal went down on Thursday. But Herbert's one of the top paid QB, is the highest paid QB in the league right now, which is kind of crazy, seeing how he never won a playoff game.
Yeah. He's never won his division either.
$264 million for 5 years. Is that what it was?
Yep. But the thing is, it's not fully guaranteed like a lot of them were.
Not like Lamar Jackson's contract.
Lamar Jackson's not fully guaranteed either. His is only half guaranteed. I think I read that it was about a third of that, or maybe no, it's half guaranteed for Justin Herbert as well. $132 million of it is guaranteed money. Which, if you think about it, that leaves them more outs on that 5-year contract. After year 3, there's no dead cap.
And the NFL's got to do something.
Yeah.
The NFL, I mean, the owners, I guess, because they're getting strong-armed by these quarterbacks.
Well, they did that new CBA to give more money. They reduced the percentage that was going to the rookies to give more to the rank and file and to vets in general. When I say the rank and file, I mean the vet minimum. It went up from, what was it, 500,000 to 750, I think it is, on an average across the board. So that means your average run-of-the-mill kicker that can barely make a team makes 750,000 a year now.
Yeah, I mean, what I
and
mean
not just
is
that, but also
Eric, I'm just saying he's
look
still a
at Jared.
tradable commodity.
What are you saying,
well,
Jared?
the salary cap has just has gotten more and more each year. So it's like they kind of have to, there's more of that pie to spread out, and quarterbacks are just sucking it up, and it's a quarterback-driven league.
Well, yeah, but that's the problem. Like, I get it if a guy like Patrick Mahomes is going to take up a huge part of your fucking salary cap. But if a guy like Jared Goff or a guy like, Justin Herbert, yeah, he's talented, but has he proven himself yet? Or a guy like Ryan Tannehill, names across the league. If this guy is taking up a huge percentage salary cap, and Daniel Jones, for instance, the damn deal he signed, let him go, build the roster with the rest of that salary cap, and then sign you a Jared Goff, and then look at the wins stack up. Unless you're signing a Patrick Mahomes to a large deal, if you're eating up that much of your salary cap, that guy's got to be legendary. You know what I mean? He can't be middle of the road quarterback or even just bottom tier, bottom of the top tier.
For what they paid for, look at how Deshaun Watson got hit. Because it was Kyler Murray, then it was Deshaun Watson. That's what really started this astronomical, weird QB pay to me.
Well, it's been going on for a while. Kirk Cousins upped the ante with all of his franchise tags and shit. And then Matt Stafford, Kirk Cousins, and then it just kept going up and up and up. Every quarterback that got signed got more and more and more money. It's
ridiculous.
Right. That's the thing right now. One thing is true. Salaries can't go up 10% a year every year. Maybe a few more years, but eventually the TV money can't keep up. Yep.
We'll see.
You can say he's Phillip Rivers, but he's way better than Phillip Rivers ever was. The problem is they don't have the defense there like Phillip Rivers had. When you can say that they're good,
had a hell of a defense.
Right. That defense was way better, and Phillip Rivers still couldn't win.
And he had LT.
Yeah, he had LT. He had Antonio Gates.
He had some good teams around him. Phillip Rivers, he had one of the weirdest little short arm passes. It's a little weird deal he did. He was a good quarterback, but Justin Herbert, yeah, he offers more to the table, but it's hard to say what the guy's going to be able to do in the NFL because.
Oh, come on, Eric. They're only pregnant with their 10th kid for Phillip Rivers and his wife.
Oh, yeah, he's got at least 65 or so.
Good for him.
That's what happens when you're Catholic, both you and your wife. She can't say no, and you can't use protection.
It is what it is.
You know what I'm saying?
No, you can ask what they do. But breaking news, the Rams just lost a veteran in the backfield. Another weapon is gone. Sony Michel just retired on the Rams.
Sony Michel?
Oh, man.
He hasn't even been around that long.
No, it's like year 5, year 6 for him. Right? Spent 3 years with the Patriots.
God, who was he with? Was he a part of was he just before Nick Chubb?
He was with the Patriots.
Yeah.
No, but he's a Georgia running back. So I feel like he's right around that Nick Chubb era.
Yeah, just the year before.
Georgia just spits out running backs like Alabama.
That's crazy. He already retired, huh?
Yep.
He never really panned out. He never really did.
Sonny Michel had a couple of good years, and that was all Tom Brady was there, and he was there the year after he left, and I'm quite sure he got sick of playing on a losing team.
I mean, even with Tom Brady, I don't feel like he did much. I mean, Tom Brady was looking to guys like Rex Burkhead and James White.
That's just it. He didn't have to do much, though. That's what I'm saying is they did running back by committee. They've been doing that for years. That is part of the devaluation of running backs, too. It started with the Patriots winning without a bell cow running back.
Yeah. I mean, hell, they was doing things with Lawrence Maroney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kevin Falk. What was that little dude? What was that little white dude's name? Danny Burkhead.
Or Danny Whitehead.
Danny Whitehead.
Yeah.
Out of South Dakota State.
That little white dude.
He could run like a
super fast.
Oh yeah. He ended up going
like a brick.
I think he ended up going to Chargers.
And then he retired.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they paid him.
Mm-hmm.
Or Woodhead. That's what it was. Woodhead.
Yep. That's what it is. Danny Woodhead.
Danny Woodhead. God. So, I didn't even think it's been that long ago.
What you missed was I talked about Malcolm Rodriguez had a pick, and that was on Nate Sudfeld.
Okay.
Jack Campbell today also forced a fumble and recovered it, and that was on Montgomery. And Brian Branch took an excellent angle that I saw in a video, caught up to Khalif Raymond and did a pass breakup. And that's something you can't teach, that IQ, for a rookie to have that angle when somebody's faster than you to be able to get to them and make a pass breakup like that. Because we're not talking about Sam Laporta, tight end. We're not talking about Katoan Thompson or somebody like that. We're talking about Khalif Raymond, who is like either the second or third fastest guy on this team.
Sure. And I mean, you know, when I looked at Brian Branch, when I looked at his tape and stuff, when I thought the possibility when all the mock drafts were coming out, and I started looking at his tape, and I'm like, this dude's all over the field.
Mm-hmm.
He's all over the field. Obviously, he's smart enough to be able to make reads at multiple different positions, similar to a guy that we also have on our roster, you know, Gardner Johnson. But when I've seen that, I'm like, yeah, I like this guy. I thought he was going to be a first-round pick, get him in the second round. I'm not surprised that he's making plays in training camp.
Right.
I mean, especially with Gardner Johnson being injured right now. Obviously, he's going to be out there. He better be showing flashy plays. You know what I mean? He better be showing flashy plays because that's what I expect out of him. That's why we traded up to get him
granted, it was 3 spots, but still it was a trade up.
And in our division.
Right. But James Urgis says Branch is going to win playing time, early playing time. Amen. But next week, the Bearded Lions talk is going to be over the Inside the Den draft edition that just dropped this past week. We're going to watch it pretty much in depth and come up with topics to talk about how Brad Holmes attacked the draft, how he traded, like he looked like a stockbroker on crack the way he made trades.
Wolf of Wall Street, right?
Yep.
Oh,
He's the Wolf of Draft Street. And Branch is going to be a stud. That being said, I have had a blast. Thank you, Jared, Jeff. Shout out to you guys. I love you guys. You know, I've known you guys. Well, I've known Jared since he was about 8 years old, and I've known Jeff his entire life because he's my nephew. So, thank you again for tuning in.
Been a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you were about 8, 9 years old when we all played Madden together.
Right around there.
This last draft is still in question, obviously, because none of the players have done anything. But I believe in Holmes. All these players have done something somewhere. And like I said, Broderick Martin, what I liked is what I saw in his stats from Northern Alabama, because unless you had CCTV and in that Division II area, you didn't get to see it. But Western Kentucky was more out where you could actually see game film.
Yeah.
The problem is when you switch from DT2 in a 4-3 scheme or a 4-man front and you go to nose tackle, you're uncomfortable. So, yes, he did use his strength, and I think he's going to be better than everybody thought, because I think that they're going to work with him on his knee bend and his lower body strength, because his upper body strength is immense.
Well, I'm sure that they're going to work with him getting low, and I don't want to say that he's going to be a bust, because obviously Brad Holmes knows way the fuck more than I do about talent evaluation. You know what I mean?
Amen.
Oh yeah.
Me looking at his face, I don't like how upright he is. There's just certain things I don't like about him. Doesn't mean that the guy's going to be a bust. You know?
Right. All right.
Jared,
you want to do a parting shot?
Oh. Well, I was going to add to that with Broderick Martin. Like I said it earlier, like my thing with him is like as long as he just comes in and he's just a solid run stuffer, that's all I need him to be right now. You know, if he just does that, that's a good pick. As he's contributing as a rookie, as a third-round pick, he's got time to develop. You know.
All right. You got a parting shot for everybody?
Yeah.
Stay wise, stay bearded.
All right. What about you, Jeff? What do you want to say to the fans?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I heard a lot of stuff. I've been hearing a lot of stuff about Sam Laporta. Constant good things being said about that guy. So that's got me kind of excited. Hopefully he'll be the best tight end out of Iowa that the Lions drafted.
Amen.
Not name another guy. And let's just go Lions. I'm ready to get this season started.
That being said, I'm going to add one more thing before I say my normal thing. I said he had a good shot at making his roster because of his size and his yak ability that he had as a 7th-round pick in Antoine Green that was supposed to be a 4th-rounder and fell. He's already taking first and second team reps, which means he's supplanted. I mean, granted, MJJ is hurt, so we don't know if he surpassed him. But that means he surpassed Josh Reynolds and Khalif Raymond already on this roster.
Well, he has his own kind of position too, right? Like Khalif Raymond is not going to play the same position that Antoine Green's going to play. They're two different positions, you know.
Between what I'm hearing about Green and what I'm hearing about Mims, don't be surprised if more players end up getting cut than we thought they would. Because these are a lot of those players that have those small contracts that don't cost any money or future dead cap. That's all I'm getting at.
No, I wouldn't be shocked by anything. Honestly, in that wide receiver group, who the hell is a solidified guy? I mean, Josh Reynolds is the guy that Jared Goff trusts and he likes. St. Brown is his guy.
Amen.
And then beyond that, I mean, you've got Antoine Green, Khalif Raymond made some big plays, Denzel Mims. They're looking for a guy to step up and take that fucking roster spot. That's what they're, in my opinion.
Right, and trying him out there and giving him the snaps is showing that he's showing some promise, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got when you can get out there with our fucking starting quarterback against our first team defense and see what you can do. Can you beat the team or not?
Drake May's a decent quarterback, but he lost a lot of weapons this year. But he also lost his offensive coordinator there at North Carolina. But he stayed. So that means something has to be going right there in North Carolina for a quarterback of that caliber to lose his OC and 2 of his 3 best wide receivers and still stay with that school. There's something going on in North Carolina. Watch them this year. Just saying, if you want to see how good he will be, this is the year to watch him.
It's not a bad idea.
I got a question.
Sure.
All-purpose yards for rookie running back. Where do you think Jahmyr Gibbs falls?
I think he's going to end up with right around 1,200 yards total, but I think it's going to be more receiving than rushing.
Okay, I think that's fair. I mean, do you think he gets more all-purpose yards than Bijan?
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason why, he has a better O-line. He has better blocking receivers downfield.
Better quarterback play.
Better quarterback play.
Jared?
As far as yards, I think he could get 1,300 with like
all-purpose yards.
All-purpose yards, I think he can get 1,300.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, with like what Jeremy's saying, more receiving yards than rushing yards, because from everything I'm hearing, it sounds like he's going to be more of like a receiving back that you can put out wide, almost like a Deebo Samuel, but more of a running back. You know,
I've heard that.
Yeah, like the running back version of a Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you guys. I'm kind of in that same boat of 1,300 all-purpose yards, heavily on the receiving. I mean, I'm right there with you. I think the dude's.
I don't think he's going to come out. I was about to say, I don't think he's going to come out and put up 1,000 receiving and 1,000 rushing his rookie year. But I mean, God bless him if he does.
He's not going to do a Marshall Faulk. I think. Quote me if I'm on Marshall Faulk. I think the only guy to ever do it. I mean, no, two guys. One guy from like the 50s or some bullshit.
Yeah, one of those old hats. He was the first one to do it. Wasn't it Jim Brown?
No, Jared and I was on the phone the other day. I looked it up. I can't remember the guy's name.
Okay. Well, anyways, I think David Montgomery is going to have over 1,000 yards rushing because he's going to get 80% of the carries unless he's tired, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Or hurt. I think he's going to have his first 1,000-yard season. I think Gibbs is going to be lucky to rush the ball 7 to 12 times a game. I think he's going to have more like 10 to 15 snaps at receiving positions or receiving out of the backfield.
You said 10 to 15 in receiving situations?
Yes.
And then how many running?
7 to 12 tops.
I think that's pretty close to what he's gonna see. I think that's pretty close.
And I think he's going to average. I think he's going to have a way better average yard per carry than what Montgomery is, just because of his elusiveness and his speed.
He's going to see a lot of screens. He's going to see a lot of pitches. He's going to see a lot of situations. Ben Johnson's going to put him into a situation to see the damn open field, you know.
Well, this has been Bearded Lions Talk with Jared and Jeff. I just want to say I'm going to end this the way I do every show. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. Thank you for watching, and check us out next week.